Friends, the UN Sustainable Development Goals SDG framework is important to India as it targets ending poverty in all its forms. Now, India played an important role in shaping the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, the composite rank of which is assessed on a scale of 0 to 100, with all goals treated equally. India ranked 121st in a total of 193 countries with a score of 60.32 the last year, that is 2022. Creditable as it is, it must improve further, which needs great amount of funding. Now, the additional financing to meet the SDG targets by 2030 is estimated at rupees 12.1 trillion and 53.6 trillion for health, education, and many others included. How does a nation which has upliftment of a large number of people as an imperative, as an important activity, objective, fund the Sustainable Development Goals? This and others we will discuss this Saturday. I hope you will like the pitch that I am making. Corporate social responsibility, as we all know, CSR, is one avenue that is available to us since it shares the thematic development areas with that of the SDGs. It's a self-regulating business model that helps a company to be socially accountable and accountable to itself, its stakeholders, and the public. Its responsibilities include environmental ethics, philanthropy, and economy, education, health, rural development, setting up orphanages, slum area development, socio-economic inequalities, special education, Swachh Bharat, sanitation, safe drinking water, technology and incubators, and training. They are all activities that come under the CSR, and they are much similar to the Sustainable Development Goals. CSR benefits the industry in boosting their brand value and the society by protecting the environment. Should then the more visible and successful companies show more responsibility and standards and set standards of ethical behavior for their peers? As per the European Union, Industry 5.0 provides a vision that aims beyond the efficiency and productivity as the sole goals, reinforcing the role and the contribution of the industry to the society. It places the well-being of the worker and the planet at the center of the production process. Now, Industry 5.0, also known as the fifth industrial revolution, is a new and emerging phase of industrialization and AI-powered robots to enhance the workplace processes. It is coupled with a more human-centric focus as well as increased resilience and an improved focus on sustainability. It's more than just manufacturing and builds upon the fourth industrial revolution and is enabled by developments in the IT sector that include artificial intelligence, automation, big data analytics, Internet of Things, machine learning, robotics, smart systems, and virtualization. The central theme, however, is protection of resources and the planet. Whereas Industry 4.0 was all automation of the highest of levels. A report in Forbes, authored by Joren Krenzenberg, cites the European Union, which envisages Industry 5.0's vision as aiming beyond efficiency and productivity as the sole. 3 goals. 3P bottom line as central, 4 P bottom line as the sole. 4P 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 bottom line as the new technologies as providing prosperity beyond jobs and respecting the production limits of the planet. Research and innovation must service a sustainable, human-centric and resilient industry. That's the spirit of SDG. Niti Aayog estimates approximately 13% of the GDP to achieve the SDG commitments by 2030. Current spending is an average 7% of the GDP, though it was 8.3% in 2021. It's mandatory for the companies covered under Section 135 to spend a minimum of 2% of their net profit over the preceding 3 years under CSR. Now, 2021 saw about 1,600 companies spend on, again, about 8,000 CSR projects, which is actually a sharp decline over the previous year, when 22,500 odd companies, spent on CSR. In terms of contributions, it was down 64% to rupees 8,900 odd crores in 2021 from almost 25,000 crores the year before. Even as Maharashtra, Karnataka, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu accounted for 33% of the spend, 60% of it went to education and healthcare and rural development activities. Maybe COVID had an influence on that. The unspent amount over 3 financial years, however, will merge with the PM Relief Fund. Now, given that some states are very industrialized and some with hardly any big industries, it's obvious that the most industrialized states have received most of the funds. Maharashtra with about 15,000 crores, Karnataka with about 6,000 crores, and Gujarat with about 5,200 odd crores led the race. Small and mid-sized businesses also create social responsibility programs. Although their initiatives are rarely as well publicized as those of the larger corporations. Can the budget acknowledge them with a tax rebate? We all expect that there are provisions made within the budgets to promote CSR activities. Some steps that the government must seriously consider are seeking replenishment of natural resources or supporting causes that help neutralize the negative impact on the environment. Pollution, waste, natural resource consumption, and emissions through manufacturing processes must all come down. If trees are cut, new ones must be planted too. Mandating switchover from gas to electricity and use of recycled materials must be done as good moves. Now, CSR strategies may be difficult to assess because many of them are qualitative rather than quantitative. Further, it conflicts with the profit motive of a company. It can be an obstacle even for larger companies. A company management has a fiduciary duty to its shareholders, and CSR directly opposes this, since the responsibility of executives to shareholders is to maximize profits. A manager who forsakes profits in favor of some benefits to the society may expect to lose his job as well and be replaced by someone else for whom profits are a priority. In that context, I remember the words of Nobel Prize winning economist Milton Friedman, who said, "The social responsibility of business is to increase its profits." That be the case, the government may insist on 100% ethically sourced resources, green buildings, EVs, community services, training, reduction in energy consumption, and limit industry-wide emissions. The main disadvantage of CSR is that its costs fall disproportionately on the small businesses. Major corporations can afford to allocate a budget to CSR spending, but this is not always the case with the smaller businesses with between 10 and 200 employees. Unfortunately, CSR costs money to implement. CSR may even spin off greenwashing. Now, it describes corporate practices that appear to be environmentally responsible without actually representing a change in how the company conducts its business. That's called greenwashing. For example, the product may be labeled all natural, even though it is being manufactured just as it always was. Be that as it may, one needs money if social responsibilities have to be met, and that money has to come from somewhere. Can we also expect, a 0.5% rise in the existing 2% of the net profit and a much closer digital monitoring of the corporates on their CSR spend in future? After all, responsibility is not that of the government alone. With that, I am signing off for this Saturday with a promise to be back the next Saturday. Until then, thank you, Dhanyavad, and Namaskar.